Hello, welcome. My name is Marian Queen Melissa, and I'll be presenting the implementation of the PDF to audio conversion for visually impaired students by the group MakCoderz. These are the contents of our presentation. The first is the introduction, the problem statement, objectives, scope, significance, related work, research strategies, data collection tools, research design, analysis, conclusion, and references. We begin with the introduction. About 25.8% of all impaired people in Uganda are visually impaired. And despite the availability of various technologies like braille machines that have been put in place by the government to meet the Sustainable Development Goals, there are still various challenges when it comes to accessing and using PDFs by the visually impaired. Next, we talk about our problem statement. So, access to an inclusive and cost-effective education for visually impaired students is still a challenge despite many solutions existing. The performance of visually impaired students in the mainstream institutions has been noted to be poor in comparison to their sighted peers, despite all the various learning strategies put in place like braille machines, screen recorders, transcribers. So the purpose of this research is to develop an accessible, cost-effective PDF to speech converter that will allow visually impaired students to access and read the same educational materials as their sighted peers. Next, we talk about objectives. The objectives are what we intend to achieve. The first one, the main objective of this research is to develop a cost-effective tool for visually impaired students to access and interact with their reading material. We then talk about the specific objectives which are derived from this main objective. The first specific objective is to design and implement a speech synthesizer that converts text to audio. The next is to develop and implement a system that can read out text in any frequency that a user specifies. One user may prefer a very fast reading, another might prefer a low reading. So we leave that up to the user. We also intend to design and implement a text-to-speech converter that can read out text in both male and female voices. Next, we talk about the scope. The scope refers to the boundaries of our research. So our research is going to focus on the design and implementation of a PDF to audio system using a general purpose programming language. Next, we talk about the significance. This refers to the importance of our research and the PDF to audio converter. It will increase access to education. Not only does the PDF to audio converter provide accessibility for those with visual impairments, it also helps reduce barriers in education. The PDF to audio converter will allow students to access documents, books, and other materials that would normally be inaccessible to them due to their disability. The next is increased reliance/independence. The PDF to audio converter significantly contributes to aiding persons with special educational needs in learning, building self-confidence, being independent, and achieving high-quality life. This is because it allows them to feel more independent when reading and comprehending information. Additionally, by giving the students a wide range of material on different topics that they may not have been able to access due to vision loss, it opens up new opportunities for learning and self-exploration. Next, we talk about reduced costs in terms of manual labor. The PDF to audio converter automates the process of converting PDF materials into audio format and making it more convenient for individuals to access PDF files. As of now, when visually impaired students want to access PDF files, they have to talk to someone to help them, to read out to them, a sighted person. But with this PDF to audio converter, it will remove the need for transcribers or related works. The first is the text-to-speech reader. The TTS reader is available for free and works with all current browsers, including Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. It also offers text-to-speech, as well as programmable speed and volume controls. Next is JAWS, which is jobs access with speech. As users browse through websites and digital documents like PDFs, it speaks aloud the words they see on their computer screens. Natural reader. Natural reader can be used to listen to ebooks and educational materials anywhere. It uses neural speech synthesis. The next thing I talk about are the research strategies. The first one is surveying. Surveying is the collection of information from a sample of individuals through their responses to questions. The next is experiments. Experiments involve manipulating variables and measuring the effects on users. Experimentation can be done to test hypotheses and to discover new relationships. Next, I talk about the data collection tools used. The first is surveys. Surveys allow researchers to ask specific questions related to the product's features or design choices. Next is interviews. Interviews allow researchers to ask open-ended questions that will provide more in-depth insights to how users interact with the product. Next is focus groups. Focus groups involve bringing together a group of people with similar characteristics, such as visually impaired students, and allowing them to discuss their experiences with a product or service. Next is observation. Observing users as they use technology can provide insights into their needs, preferences, and potential barriers when it comes to using the computer. We then talk about the research design. We've used both the qualitative and the quantitative research methods. Next, we talk about analysis. The respondents were asked about the kinds of assistive technologies that were assessed to support learning among them. The findings show that 30 of the respondents said that tape recorders were easily accessed and used. 29 indicated computers. Others, that is 25, named the Perkins Braille. 14 cited magnifier and a scanner. 12 mentioned the Braille embosser. 11 mentioned the note taker. 9 mentioned special software. This includes NVDA, non-visual desktop access, as well as JAWS. 7 mentioned the PACMET and Talking Dictionary, and 5 mentioned an internet-connected computer, while 3 mentioned a talking watch to help them. Conclusion: on the basis of the study findings, it can be deduced that the visually impaired students face some limitations in assessing and utilizing technology to enhance their quality of learning. As the study findings demonstrate, there is need not only to continue providing learning opportunities for the visually impaired, but also in the provision of assistive technologies that can add value to their learning activities and outcomes. Though the school provide some assistive technologies to visually impaired students, there is still much more that needs to be done to ensure that the visually impaired can lessen their overdependence on readers and become more independent learners. Thus, there is need for the development of a cost-effective PDF to audio conversion system that will reduce on the above challenges being faced by the visually impaired students. Next, we talk about our references, as you can see them here. Thank you for listening.